Hi.
Hi.
I am so tired and low energy. I'm trying to be awakened with it.
It'll be a quick one this time. Not a whole lot.
Okay.
Not a whole lot going on.
Yeah, not too much. Still though. Maybe if we get lucky and I can throw this together, we can play some Destiny too, finally.
It's a good thing I put my phone to charge.
You want to hit on that really quick while we're getting started? Because that's technically gaming news, I guess.
Yeah.
It's been going on for a week now, I think.
I'm actually surprised we didn't talk about it last time. We didn't really.
I mean, yeah, it was going on during the time, but I don't know. It got progressively worse. So like it was a big deal, but then it seemed like they acknowledged them. Hang on, do we want to intro the show and just get on?
Yeah.
Since we're already getting it. Okay. I'm so tired. I can't remember the number. We're on 44, right?
I think so.
Tell me we're on 44.
I think we're at 44.
We're on 44.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am feeling under the weather, but I'm trying to do my best here, people. All right. This is the Ramblepack Podcast, episode 44, and I'm sickly Adam.
And I'm okay, Mike.
I thought you were going to say you're healthy, Mike. That would have been fine.
Still got a ways to go on that one, but
Yeah, healthier than I am right now. You have energy. I have gelato. My throat is killing me. I'll make it work. Anyway, yeah, we didn't talk about Bungie servers and stuff being the target of a DDoS attack.
and we never talked about
Or
the funny
DDoS.
guns. The funny guns are nothing.
No, the glitch thing. That was, I don't know. Do you want to? Now I'm tripping up because I'm thinking of both things at the same time. It's kind of funny how once one got fixed, then the other thing happened. What do you want to explain, and I'll explain the other one.
Well, if I want to say, as far as like whoever is a Destiny fan at this point or plays the game, basically should know what we're talking about. The glitch that we were talking about was apparently people found out that you could put a frame from one weapon into another weapon, basically souping it up. People were turning automatic auto rifles into shotguns and grenade launchers into shotguns, and basically everything under
And
sun.
combining exotic perks with other exotics.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like the Vexclave, they were putting, was it grenade launcher rounds from it from like Dead Messenger on the Vex one?
Yeah.
Just shit like that. So basically, like, the guns would take on the perks and the actions of one gun, but would still be the other one. So you had full auto shotguns that were shooting far range and shit like that, or rocket shooting grenade launchers and weird ass things like that. But that got patched after a weekend of using it, but as soon as that got patched, Bungie was subjected to a DDoS attack. And that has been going on for the last week, and it's made the game pretty much unplayable at points. And they've kind of pinned it down to a specific time frame. It seems like it's from 3 p.m. to about 2 a.m. And it kind of comes in waves, too, because it could come every 5 minutes to every half hour to an hour.
Right.
Still don't know anything about who it is or what's going on. But like I told you earlier, we were checking out someone who's been monitoring the traffic, and it seems like the last 24 hours has been quiet. So I'm wondering if we can get some gaming time in before reset tomorrow.
I hope so. But at the same time, I'm also feeling like this is going to be the calm before the storm.
You think it's going to get worse?
Could be. Unless they proved their point already. You take away our funny guns, we're going to screw with your servers.
Well, the question is, what is the point behind it? Because, the person who's doing it hasn't come out and said, yeah, it's me and I'm doing it for XYZ reasons. It's somebody doing it. And it might not even be just one person either. It could be a couple people.
Could just be doing it just because they
And there
can.
is... I mean, yeah, it could be that too. There's speculation that something I just saw earlier, like it's kind of a bleed over from something, which I don't think that these two are related. But apparently Sony was hacked or breached by some ransomware group.
Okay.
You didn't know about that?
I read slightly about it, but
Yeah, I was just reading about it today. It's some hacker group named ransomed.vc. They claim to have breached Sony's all of their systems, apparently, and have gotten they've showed off about 6,000 files of different things. And people are wondering if maybe it's this group that's doing it, or is it tied to it? And I'm just I don't think that that would be the case.
it would be interesting though.
It would be, but I would go back to my original question and say why. I don't understand the reasoning behind it besides just to do it. But this came to light. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, other than the fact to prove a point, hey, yeah, we can fuck with your shit. Like we're messing with one of your top games right now because we broke into your system.
Yeah, but Sony and Bungie are not intrinsically tied. They're two separate entities. It's not like because Bungie is now owned by Sony, they have access to the Sony servers and shit like that and can use it as a backdoor into them.
True, but I'm trying to think if there's any way type of connection. Is what I'm trying to think of. I could be wrong.
I honestly have no idea.
Because I'm thinking along the same lines of just recently, because this kind of bleeds over into my work this time around. That and even as a customer for EverSource, we got notices from different companies saying, "Hey, our systems got breached, and this information." Your information is vulnerable and could have been sold out, all because of one company was breached that had to do with everybody else, all these other companies, and why they were reaching out. I'm wondering if it was a similar type of situation.
I guess it would be depending on what information is shared between them.
Right.
Or how it's shared also. But I think it was an Australian publication called Cybersecurity Connect.
Mm-hmm.
Put out the word apparently that Sony was quote unquote cracked open by these guys because they were posting about it on the dark web. And they said that apparently they had unearthed some screenshots of Sony's internal login page and some PowerPoint presentations, which is interesting. I wonder what they were. What else? They also had a handful of Java files and some HTML data, and they showed the document tree of all 6,000 files, basically what links into what and where.
Right.
Sony hasn't said anything about this yet either. I'm wondering if they're even going to acknowledge it. But then this is kind of reminding people about we talked about recently back in 2011. When Sony got hacked and brought down all their services and everything, and 77 million accounts were compromised.
Basically, that's what I'm thinking. Because this isn't the first time that they've been hacked, and it's clearly not.
And these people are outright saying, "Hey, Sony's not working with us. This data is up for sale. Let us know. We'll sell it to you."
Right.
So not cool.
But
it definitely makes you it reminds you of that incident.
Pretty much, and I'm just waiting for them to make some type of announcement. Oh, your shit got breached again.
I was gonna say you're waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Yeah. Here's the crappy games we'll offer you for free.
I like how you put it like that. Considering the link I sent you for if you bought a PS5 recently, you get a free game. It's well, our shit got breached again. Here's another free game. Sorry.
I know, right?
The thing I'm saying, though, is just if you buy a PS5 now and you bring it online, you get a chance to buy a free game. And like I mentioned to Mike, it's more it's a bundle idea. Because they usually have Horizon or something like that with the PS5. But this way, you can pick your bundle, sort of thing.
Basically, which is
It's an interesting idea, but it's also a weird time. Like you said, it's a weird time to do it. Why not do it around Christmas rather than before Halloween?
right. Exactly. Unless they have something in the works that they're gonna release for around then, but
Yeah, they start introducing new bundles and things like that around Christmas. Not to mention Spider-Man 2 is coming out in a few weeks, so
yeah,
there might be a PS5 bundle with that later.
I still won't get it because it's too expensive.
Yes, it is. Boo.
But when reading about the hack thing, I completely forgot about the Sony hack where they pissed off. Where they pissed off?
Oh, Lizard Squad?
Say again?
The group that they pissed off was Lizard Squad, I believe.
No. I mean, when Sony pissed off North Korea.
Oh, what?
The leak. The second time Sony got hacked. This was around the time I'm trying to remember what the hell the name of the movie is. The Interview or something like that with.
Oh, James Franco and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, right, because weren't they they were allowing people to get that movie or something? It had something to do with the movie and their stuff.
Right. Exactly. And
Oh, it was Sony Pictures. They were like, hey, don't release this video or whatever. And Sony's like, now we're going to do it.
yeah, and they did it for free on
Yeah.
Netflix.
Yeah.
At spite.
Yeah. Well, North Korea's got a North Korea, I guess.
Basically.
Nothing happened.
Very much.
I forgot all about that.
You and me both until I read it. I'm like, oh shit.
That was ridiculous. And then people were joking around that time, too. It's like, just send Dennis Rodman back. He likes to talk to Kim Jong-un. Why not?
Oh, fuck.
Apparently they were buddy-buddy.
Aren't they still buddy-buddy as far as I know?
I honestly have no idea. I haven't really heard much about it. Wouldn't surprise me, though. Oh, this isn't video game related, but apparently they're opening up foreign visits again. They're allowing people to come and visit what do you want to call it, the country, state, whatever.
What, just...
It's like, yeah, who's going to want to come and visit?
I know, right? You're already threatening to use your newly developed nuclear weapons to show your...
Mm-hmm.
So let's invite tourists to go see your half-cocked, staged, wonderful cities.
Well, since we're talking about Sony Pictures and movies.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Apparently, the Hollywood writers may have come up with a deal for the strike. Basically, the Writers Guild and the Alliance of Motion Picture landed a tentative agreement on the 24th. The Guild announced. Even though, not to be confused with the actors' strike, which is still going on at this point. But I'm sure with this deal, if it goes through, I don't doubt that the actors one is going to follow suit along the same lines.
You don't think that the deal's going to stop? Like the strike's going to end, or it's going to continue?
Well, they need to vote on it, make sure everybody's in agreement with the things, because once they have it, the final wording on paper, because that's what basically they're waiting on, is the actual written language, and if everybody agrees to it, then...
So this has just been a verbal agreement, and they liked what they said.
Right, exactly. They all discussed.
And you mentioned what?
What?
Sorry, you mentioned what I was going to bring up to you too. Was the actor strike was not included? This is just the writers thing.
Right, exactly.
And that should follow suit.
Right, and I wouldn't doubt that once the written language is done and they accept it, I wouldn't doubt that the actor strike should follow suit with a similar language.
Yeah, and this kind of I don't even know what the word I'm trying to think of is, but like this should stave off the idea of a video game strike as well.
Right.
Because that was the next thing to come if nothing was working out. And this is like just shy of it being the longest strike too in history so far.
Yeah, because I think the writer's strike was, what, 20 months? What was the longest at this point? Do you remember?
I cannot recall offhand. But it falls just like either days or weeks short of being the longest.
Oh, damn. That was close. Trying to...
I got a cat meowing downstairs and I can hear it. It's probably Odin.
Because he likes the idea, too.
Get out of here.
He wants to see his friend come back. Got to see Garfield and Goose get some.
Who's what?
That's the Goose
Garfield
is the cat.
Goose?
Goose is the cat from Captain Marvel.
Oh, okay. You said Garfield, and I was like, oh yeah, what is it? Nicktoons Brawl, the sequel.
Yeah.
They just announced Garfield.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, and they announced the grandma from Hey Arnold is going to be in it.
Oh shit. Shit's gotten real.
Yeah. It's a really weird roster that game is now.
A little bit. Basically, at this point, with the deal, they're trying to codify the language, and then there's going to be like 2 rounds of votes. I'm trying to remind myself of what it was. The negotiating committee will vote on whether to recommend the agreement and send it to the guild's board and council for approval. And then the board and council will vote on whether to authorize the deal officially. So basically, at that point, once it goes through those votes, the original board the body that did the original vote.
You got it.
Will then authorize the when to stop the strike, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean they go back to work until the official agreed upon date, but basically
Right, everything's got to be stamped, sealed, and signed, and ready to go.
Pretty much. That way, everybody can start preparing to go back to work. But they did advise that, hey, you can't be on the pickets right now because of what's going on, but you can go support the actors strike and go picket with them.
Which is fair.
Because they did the same thing. Why not?
Yeah, of course.
I
I'm wondering how I guess the landscape of movies, TV, and writing is going to change after all this.
You and me both. Because as cool as it would be to see how the technology gets used for like AI and stuff like that to populate instead of it looking like weird little. Granted, it still wasn't bad. Because when we saw in like movies that showed massive crowds, you're not paying attention enough to really see the kind of detail.
When you do, though, it stands out.
Pretty much. I don't know. I'd be cool. I think it would be cool to see where they could take that type of technology, but at the same time, I fully agree with the fact of why they need the protections in place. Because last thing I want is some asshole to. Because what's to stop somebody from lifting our images and shit off of like Facebook and whatnot, plug it into the AI and use it? It's under those same guidelines.
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. But to get back on topic, no, I like it. And from what they're saying, the way the guild is talking, it's the terms are going to be leaning towards the guild's favor. So I'm very interested
I was going to say more favorable for them.
Right, I want to see what that language is as to what they worked out.
Right, because they haven't really shared anything yet. I mean, they might share it like after they get it in writing and send, here's what we've agreed on.
Oh, absolutely. So that's gonna be fun.
You and I have different definitions of fun.
I'm boring. I like contract law.
That's fine. So along the same lines of like movies and TV, Star Wars related or adjacent, I guess. The main dude who plays Cal Kestis in Jedi Survivor, Cameron Monaghan, he was in shit. I forgot the show now. It was something we used to watch all the time on Showtime, and I forgot. That's fine. It got bad at the end, so I don't care.
You're talking about the actor who did the most recent Jedi Star Wars video game, right?
That's who I'm referencing. Yes, I was just trying to think of the show that he was in that I first saw him in, but I can't remember it now.
He's done a
And
few
that's
though.
okay.
I know he played
the Joker in the Batman series on Fox.
Yeah, and he also did. My God, what? I see clips of it on Facebook all the freaking time. Fuck me, really.
So you're having the same problem I am.
Watch, we're probably thinking of the same exact show and not realizing it either.
That would be funny.
Giant family of kids, and the dad's a drunk.
Yes, that's the same one I'm thinking of. Yep.
Okay.
God damn it.
Now, what the fuck is the name of the show?
All right, we got to look it up now since we're both thinking of the same thing. Damn you. What were you in? Shameless.
Yes, there you go.
There it is. Yeah, so he plays Cal Kestis in the Jedi Survivor games. The second one just came out a little while ago, and he's already confirmed that a sequel to it is in development.
Kenny?
That's a little... exactly, that's what I was getting at. That shit's usually kept behind closed doors, and they're not allowed to say anything. I mean, sure, of course, another one is coming out because those games sell really well and they're fun. But just like with voice actors spilling the news because, they're excited and can't keep it to themselves, you usually don't tell these people this information because they tend to leak it, and you don't want those leaks to come out. And that's what he did.
Not to mention the fact that no, because it's a different guild altogether. I'm like, doesn't that go against the actor's strike for him to mention any of the works he's on? But it's a video game, so that would.
Yeah, it's not a movie or TV series.
Yeah. That's interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Really should look up what the delineation there is, like what makes it different.
Yeah, because then let's say, for example, this is just
He did mocap.
Huh?
He did mocap. He still acted out things for it.
Right. Or let's say, for example, I don't know if he's ever done it or not, but let's say Mark Hamill does something for one of those games as Luke Skywalker. Where does that line? Where do you draw that line?
Yeah. That's what I'm wondering. Speaking of old things, like Mark Hamill, no offense, I love him. I didn't realize that we missed Nintendo's birthday. They turned 134 over the weekend.
Holy
as a company.
shit, Nintendo's that old?
Yeah, man. Do you not remember what I told you, how they got their start? They weren't a video game company.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Okay.
Yeah, they got their start doing trading cards and stuff. Like, I think it was trading cards and little toys and things, and then they shifted towards electronics. Then got into video games, and that's where they stayed.
Happy birthday, Nintendo, you old-ass bastard.
Yeah. They turned 134 on Saturday, specifically. So mark your calendars for next year, people. We'll hit 135. They'll probably do something special for 135 since it's, the 5th.
Yes.
Factor of 5. There we go. That's what I meant.
Maybe.
I'm still
maybe
bitter
we'll
because they didn't do anything for... I am still bitter because they didn't do anything for Legend of Zelda's birthday. It felt like a milestone. They're like, yeah, no, you got a Legend of Zelda themed Game & Watch console, and that's it.
It's because...
Fuck that shit. We need an Ocarina of Time remake for the Switch. No. Don't give me that. It's still one of their staple IPs that they could have done something more with. We need a Twilight Princess remake, please. That's all I'm asking.
Well, speaking of remakes,
Oh, and put Wind Waker HD on Switch. Thank you.
You listen, Nintendo?
I hope so.
but
Do it.
on the topic of remakes, this is a bit of a stretch. But apparently, and I didn't even know this was an actual thing.
What?
They're the depending on the developer. Mainly, the article talked about was the leads from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which are basically Square Enix staple people.
Yeah.
They are at odds with each other as to how they feel on the term JRPG. Didn't even know that
See,
was...
that's surprising. I remember a couple months ago there was some Japanese developers that, like, I believe we talked about it on the podcast too, who shared their sentiments on what they thought about the term JRPG. And like some were fond of it, some thought it like fit the bill, others were like, it's just an RPG. Just because it comes from Japan doesn't mean anything.
Now that you're mentioning, I think we did talk about it.
Mm-hmm. But this sounds interesting too. I didn't know that they were at odds about it, especially when you're working that close together.
Yeah, it's not so much that they're at odds. They have differing opinions of it, which I'm very surprised about. Who is against the idea? Well, it's not like he's really against it. He just doesn't like it. It feels weird to him. Tetsuya Nomura.
Interesting, because he's like, was the grandfather of a lot of RPGs.
Basically, like he got his start as the art. Like his big breakout is his art style for Final Fantasy VII. He was the director for Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy 13, stuff like that. So he's big in there, and I'm trying to see where it was his exact words that he's not too keen on the term, because they were saying that when they started doing interviews for games that they were making, they never used the term, and then just called them RPGs at that point. But at that time, but at some point, people started referring to them as JRPGs, and he wasn't really sure what people's intent was behind calling it that. And to him, it just always felt off and weird, or if it was even needed. Which I get his point, but at the same time, I don't see it as derogatory in any aspect.
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be derogatory either. It's like a denotion, because like, what's stopping anybody from calling RPGs we make here American RPGs? You can't really call it a RPG because that term's usually used for action RPGs.
Right.
Like you'll hear a lot of people say that, or CRPGs for character-driven ones, where it's like you build a character and every choice you make kind of fits in the story and is based on your character alone. But what's stopping anybody from calling RPGs here American RPGs? To me, it's the same thing. It's just you're denoting where it's coming from.
Right.
And usually those games have a specific feel or a specific play style or systems that they use and things like that. So that way you know, okay, it's a JRPG, I expect this sort of thing, or I expect this kind of system or this kind of gameplay.
Right, exactly. That was more my thing about it. Was it's not so much that, like, granted, the point of the J was like you only see that type of style in Japan, but that's the way they do RPGs. That's the type of RPG they're known for in that style.
Yep.
Whereas Western RPG, yeah, we're Western.
That's a better way to put it. Instead of just saying American, you just say Western RPGs.
Right.
You're right.
Our RPGs are different. We're because we'll have like Dragon Age, stuff like that. Those D&D style, whereas Japan doesn't do that, which comes from their culture, which I understand. That's the way I see it, is how you can differentiate between the two, because you can't just say, hey, I'm a RPG fan if you like the JRPG style of RPGs, but don't like the Western style of RPGs.
So, based on what you just said, let me ask you a question. without specifically saying either way, if somebody says, I like RPGs, what kind of gameplay and systems come to mind for you? Like, what do you expect in a game if somebody says RPG?
When somebody says RPG, I think that's just because that's the way I started. I go right to PlayStation. I go right to the Final Fantasy series. Exactly that. JRPGs. In my mind, they were RPGs at that time. Those were the type of RPGs I was into. And as the market broadened, I became more familiar with other types of RPGs. That's when I also came to know the RPGs, the Japanese RPGs as JRPGs.
Mm-hmm. So when I hear RPG, first thing I'm going to do is like look and see what kind of RPG it is. But if I hear that, the first thing I think of or expect is it's going to be level based. It's going to be a party of 3 or 4. It's going to be a broad story that's going to take at least 40 hours to do across multiple areas, if not like 2 main hub areas.
Right.
And just fighting monsters and leveling up.
Yeah.
Now, and then you have to like drill down and see, okay, what's the spin on these things and what are they bringing into it and what are they taking away or how are they changing it to make it fresh?
Right. Like when I think JRPGs, I'm thinking mechs. I'm thinking not so much. I want to say dragons, but not so much that. Actually,
Monsters and folklore?
yeah. Because I even go back to where we were talking about. I'm thinking, if I'm thinking of Western RPGs, I'm thinking Old English style. Medieval style of gameplay. I'm thinking D&D. I'm thinking that type of stuff. Because even then, you say goblins and goblins for each different ones. You're thinking of 2 different things.
Mm-hmm.
Or you think of orcs and orcs. In Western RPG styles, you're thinking orcs are evil elves, like in the Lord of the Rings, whereas orcs in JRPGs are
the giant cyclopses with sharp teeth.
Yeah, more so piglins type of idea.
Okay.
Because, for example, like the slime game, orcs are depicted as giant.
Wait, which slime game?
No, the new one's a mushroom.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. I still can't believe I got an ad for that after we talked about it. Actually, I've gotten 2 now, thank you. I've gotten one on Facebook and one on Instagram now.
Try it out. You'll like it.
No, thank you.
You'll get hooked.
I don't want to.
But yeah, and even then, when you look at the different characters the characters or creatures and stuff like that, they may share similar names, but even their styles are completely different.
Yeah.
Because when you think of dragons from China and Japan, you're thinking wyvern type of dragons, whereas
hang on. Traditional dragons are supposed to be more snake-like, aren't they? And wyverns are the ones with feet.
Oh shit. No, I'm thinking of worms.
Oh no, did I just bring your world down?
Not wyverns, worms.
Okay. WYRMS,
yes.
for people who are wondering.
But yeah.
Why do earthworms have wings?
But yeah, no, that's the way I see it. It's a differentiation, so you know the difference.
But he just doesn't like that.
Yeah, to him it seems weird, which I can understand.
Coming back to the topic at hand.
Yeah. Whereas, ironically enough, Kitase, who was actually the director of the original Final Fantasy VII, he said he's not bothered by it in the slightest. His exact quote was, "Personally, I don't see it as derogative.
I think obviously with modern gaming, titles developed in West are the majority now. So if JRPG is only used in terms of differentiating, maybe showing a slightly different approach to games, or a unique flavor in terms of Japanese-made games, I'm absolutely fine with it.
So he's seeing it along the lines of way we're seeing it. It's not really derogatory. It's just saying, hey, this is that style type of thing. So that you
Apparently, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was going to say, apparently Naoki Yoshida expressed contempt for the word. Like, he didn't like it.
Yes, he didn't care
Wow.
for it at all. And that's what started the whole debate. I'm like, ooh, shit.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting.
So I would really like to find out what other developers outside of Square feel on it, because it seems to be a lot of Square people.
I feel like we talked about it in an old podcast, so we'd have to, like, go through some of our stuff and find it again?
Yes.
I'm sure that... Let me see if I can't find anything really quick, because I feel like one of the things I'm going to bring up next, they also had a comment on it, because they make RPGs as well at Platinum.
Oh.
Another thing,
What's up?
If we're going to be on the topic of
things being different from west to east. Along the topic of Square, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Do you remember the character Reno in the first game?
No.
Cocky redheaded dude.
Is it red spiky hair with goggles?
yes.
Okay.
Well, apparently his role in the next installment is going to be very limited.
Due to the Japanese actor passing away.
Oh.
And that goes back to
The tradition that they do with the actors, where if an actor for a specific role passes away, they either don't recast or they don't recast right away. So
Right.
so as to not
Almost feels respectful in a way.
Right, exactly. Because I didn't even learn about that until I found out, like in Kingdom Hearts 3, the voice actor for Phil in the Japanese voice actors passed away, so he didn't get any verbal lines whatsoever. They just decided not to recast him at all. Because I was finding it weird why Danny DeVito didn't reprise his role, and I'm like, oh, that's why.
All right.
But this time around, the way they explained it is they're going to use because he passed away before they started recording for the new installment. They're going to use audio recordings from the previous installment for it, and then they're going to decide whether or not they're going to recast them for any installments after that.
Oh. Okay. Kind of sounds like a smart way of doing it.
Basically,
Because it's not like he's a small role where you can get away with that. It was
Right.
he was a plot point character.
So just to bring it back to the discussion of the JRPG term.
Yep.
Like I had mentioned, from Platinum Games, the makers of Devil May Cry, well, he helped make Devil May Cry, and he had a hand in making Bayonetta, and specifically Bayonetta 3. Hideki Kamiya, he is leaving Platinum Games now, but he actually heard Yoshida's terms and like contempt for it, and he said that it's actually something that he feels like it should be celebrated. You know, Kamiya made action RPGs in like Devil May Cry and Bayonetta. Those have RPG elements in them, but they're action-oriented mainly. But he was like, the thing that I had found was, sure, no, that's what Yoshida said, never mind. Let me find what he said specifically about it. I can't find it. It just said that it's a JRPG is a term worth celebrating, not having contempt for. And this is Kamiya
Yeah,
who said that.
and I agree.
And like I said, the news is that he's leaving Platinum Games. So wonder what he's going to do. They didn't give any information either. It's just like, hey, he's stepping down and moving on to something else. And he even, after that came out, confirmed it was like, yeah, what the Platinum Games' Twitter account said is true. I'm leaving. We'll see what goes on after that. Nobody knows what's happening with him yet.
He's doing a soft
But I'm sure
retire.
that he'll be welcome in. I mean, maybe, or he's opening up his own studio.
He could be.
Dude knows what he's doing.
Good luck to you, buddy. But yeah, I like his take on it. It's something to be celebrated because it's. I think it's a term of endearment, to be honest, because it's in the gaming genre. It's.
I mean, yeah. Have you ever heard anyone say that word and be mad about it?
Not at all.
It's kind of its own genre.
Yeah.
Like, how often can you say your style of game creation or development can coin a phrase that is used universally?
Pretty much, and it's applied to the video game industry for your country. Your country's being
Yeah.
Sorry, Luna. Your country's being recognized for doing this particular style so well and is enjoyed so well that it's part of the community's vernacular.
It's gone global too. It's not secular. It's not stuck to Japan. Everybody likes it who plays video games.
Well, no, I'm saying it originated, the style originated from Japan. That's what people find it synonymous with. That's that type of games, and those type of games.
Yeah.
Japan.
But I'm saying it just didn't stay there. It actually broke out and went across the globe, and people like it.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Yes, absolutely.
To me. But then again, I'm not Japanese, and I'm not a Japanese game developer, so I'm sure that our sentiments are not the same as theirs.
Basically. We show utmost respect.
Yeah. That sounds almost as nice as the way Capcom put when they said that they were going to turn down any deals for acquisition.
Oh, Jesus.
The COO was talking with Bloomberg recently, and the COO is Karuhiro Sugimoto. Mm-hmm. If anybody knows who that is. He's not the same one that'll actually go to events, so he runs a lot of the business stuff. Mm. But he was talking with Bloomberg. I forget who the interviewer's name was, but she asked him, what would you say if Microsoft came to you asking to buy you out or to acquire you? And he, word for word, basically said, we would gracefully decline because we'd rather be seen as an equal. And they also believe in fostering growth from within rather than buying outside companies and whatnot. So they want to foster what they have there and cause it to grow organically.
I like that idea.
So at least he was nice about it.
Right.
He's like, yeah, we'd rather be seen as equals. We would be nice about it and be like, no, thanks. We got our own stuff.
Not to mention,
which is fair.
I agree.
Capcom's doing awesome this year, so I don't think they really need to worry about that.
Pretty much. Not to mention, I'm sure they were watching the whole Microsoft Activision shit, and it was like, yeah, we don't want to deal with that.
I feel like it would probably go a lot easier if they did, but yeah. Activision-Blizzard's just a whole other thing, because that was already what do you want to call it, an amalgamation of 3 different companies to begin with. So then, of course, that probably made it even more confusing to navigate. But that's all but accepted now. The UK CMA board is saying, yeah, that's fine. You guys can purchase each other now.
So Phil Spencer didn't shoot himself in the foot by claiming he wanted to buy Nintendo at some point.
And now he didn't say that he wanted to. It would just be a dream thing, but it's not like that's what he was pursuing. Which I get it. It would be a notch in his belt for his career or whatever. But yeah, I was gonna say don't count your chickens before they hatch. Just because they acquire them doesn't mean everything's gonna be roses.
Very much. We gotta see how.
You gotta wait works. And see. They're gonna cinch that belt and make cuts somewhere. Something's gonna happen later down the road. But yeah, the CMA has said that they are okay with the merger now, and this is due in part mainly because of the cloud gaming rights that they basically either gave to or sold to Ubisoft.
Mm-hmm.
So then the CMA was like, okay, this works. Like specifically, they said with these protections in place to make sure the deal is properly implemented, this will maintain the structure of the market, enabling open competition to shape the development of cloud gaming. Which is what their initial worry was to begin with.
Basically.
So they think that the deal is going to close sometime after October 6th, but hopefully before the 18th, which the 18th is the deadline for anything to happen.
Damn.
And that was when, if it didn't close by then, that would be when Microsoft has to pay Activision-Blizzard $3 billion or whatever it was.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. So that went through. And of course, no sooner did that happen, we got some interesting Brazilian screenshots of people buying stuff on Xbox.
Okay.
So there was a user on Twitter that had posted some screenshots of them buying Call of Duty that also apparently they had a Game Pass subscription. When they did, they got a notification saying, hey, you get this game free with your subscription. Finish your purchase now to own the game forever. So Call of Duty is coming to Game Pass at some point in the close near future. And not just one, probably all of them.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Yep. It's just funny how it's like, deal's closing. Yeah, we got it. All right, guys, put it all on there. Wonder what other games are going to follow suit with that.
You'll be
But I mean, are you surprised?
Not really.
watch. You're gonna play.
We
You're
all
gonna
knew it was
play
gonna happen.
WoW on Xbox.
They don't have a console port of WoW. But I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they got Diablo and... they got Diablo 2... No, 3 and 4. They had the... it was some Blizzard collection of older games that they put out on consoles as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far of a step it would be to put WoW on a console. I don't know if it would do well, but it's always a possibility. They got Overwatch on consoles.
It's worth a shot.
I'm just trying to think of games. Yeah. I mean, it's totally possible. I don't see it happening, though. For some reason, I just feel like that's a bridge too far.
I don't exactly see anybody on PC switching over to console because of it. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, not at all. But since this is on Game Pass subscription, and I'm pretty sure Phil Spencer said we're not going to close it off to other services, do you think it's going to show up on PlayStation too?
What?
Call of Duty.
Maybe. All depends on what their deal was, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, unless Phil Spencer straight up says, "Hey, you guys were assholes. You ain't getting shit."
Oh, a new Call of Duty game is coming out in a month or two, I think.
Mm.
I wonder what that's going to look like. Like, I don't know if it's going to come straight to Game Pass or if it's going to be, like, you have to buy it first and then it'll be on Game Pass later, or if they're going to do the Starfield route and it's going to be on both at the same time.
I don't know, because I could see it doing at the same time, but at the same time, Call of Duty is its own thing where it's like it's a franchise where Starfield is built up so much from the base that they could get away.
It's built on the back of other games that have come out from Bethesda,
Right.
So it's like they're operating on good faith.
Okay, fair enough.
We know that Call of Duty sells, though.
Oh yeah. Now it's just a matter
They
of
did
whether-
also just recently jack up the price of Game Pass, so who knows? You just get in more users that way. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways that could go.
We'll just have to wait and see.
Step your game up, Sony. God damn it.
I think they're going to do fine at the end of this year. They got a lot of decent games coming out and stuff to look forward to.
I can't afford none of it.
Sorry, man. But on the topic of Starfield, just the way that has come out, and now Cyberpunk, their DLC is coming out, and I think even Call of Duty had it as well. How do you feel about paying for early access to a game? Like how Starfield was like, buy whatever edition, or if you have a Game Pass subscription, just give us $30 and you have access to the game a week early. Or if you buy this, if you pre-order this, you get 3 days early access or whatever.
That kind of.
What do you think about that?
That kind of early access? You mean?
Well, let's start with that.
If you're
How do you feel about that? Because that's just another way of like them getting more money out of you, essentially.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. Me personally. Granted, I'm not. I'm not as invested in it as some people would.
What if it was a game you were invested in?
I don't know. Because even then, that 3 days to a week early is a bit of a hard sell. Because $30 is a lot of money.
Well, these also came with like some of these will come with skins for guns or access to something else. Starfield, you get access to their Shattered Skies or Shattered Suns DLC whenever that comes out. Plus, you got a spacesuit and a skin for a gun, I think.
That
Cyberpunk, I think you get some other things as well, but it's only like a couple days beforehand.
right.
Like it's not a week or anything like that. It's just a few days. But I don't know how much more you have to pay for that access.
Right. That much makes sense. If you got all that stuff included in it, then yes, I would probably do that. I see it as along the same lines as buying like with Lightfall and the annual pass.
Mm-hmm.
The base game was $50, but you paid $40 for all the seasonal stuff. So to me at that point it was worth it. It's just a matter of what you're getting out of it. If it's solely just to have access to it, between 3 days to a week, early access, not a chance in hell. I'm sorry. That's half the cost of a game.
Okay. But with this early access idea, that also changes the base price of a game from originally being 60 or now 70 to upwards of $100. That kind of changes how things look when you put it like that.
Yeah.
Because you're not really getting anything more out of the game from it. You just get extra additions and you get to play early.
Right.
That's really about it.
Like at least with the early access, to use it for comparison, the Dreamlight, for example, we pay depending on what pack you bought, you paid between what $30 and $70 or whatever the hell the rates are. I don't remember what they are at this point.
Something like that.
But
It was like, what, 35, 50, and 70 or something.
right. But at least you still had early access to the game for like a year before the game's release.
And we still don't even know if it's fully released now or when the physical edition comes out, if that counts as the full release.
I would assume that would count basically the whole Forgotten
I'm assuming
Saga.
so too, but
Yeah.
they just haven't said so. Now, Mike, you bring that up, and my question for you is, well, my rebuttal for that is the game wasn't complete. That's the biggest difference between that and like Starfield or Call of Duty.
Mm-hmm.
These are completely finished games that are ready to come out. You just get early access to them. Dreamlight and similar games are early access to the game while it's being finished and finalized.
Mm.
You're not getting the entire game. You're getting what they have at the time and the ability to play it as they add more to it. And you don't have to pay any more installments. Is it worth it at that point if it's not even a complete game?
To the degree that Dreamlight was, yes. Because that brings it back to the
I
conversation.
feel like Dreamlight's an outlier though because it was pretty polished.
Right. Which is what I was getting at when with the previous conversations that we've had, where everybody under the sun seems to be wanting to do early access now. Fine, you want to do early access. It should be polished enough to the degree that like Dreamlight was. It's a playable game. You can enjoy it. You're not gonna. We understand bugs will happen and shit like that. Hopefully to God that shit's gonna. You try to avoid that shit happening, but like. At it being released at that particular moment. Let's say that the game was released full tilt to the public. That's the official release, free to play, whatever. That would seem reasonable for that to be the case. You start the game off free of charge like that, but they're giving you early access. You have access to star paths that, if my understanding is correct, will never be reintroduced. So those who played during that early time period got items that regular players will never get.
And they got to see.
I just thought about something for Dreamlight really quick.
Yeah.
The way that they're doing the physical release is really odd, considering the game is supposed to be free to play, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're basically buying the game at retail price, but the game is free. The only catch is that you're getting those add-ons with it.
Right.
It just feels weird when I put it like that.
Yeah, it's like it's its own type of bundle pack. You're paying for that Moonstone pack with the items and stuff like that. You just happen to be getting a physical copy of the game with it.
Yeah, I guess that's just for like people who like physical editions of stuff,
Yeah.
because if you're doing it that way, then you really don't need it. Just buy a code for that stuff and download the game.
Yeah. But
It's just it almost feels weird when you like change the way you look at it. Because it's like, I'm buying a game, but the game is free, but the money that you're putting into it is for the DLC for it.
right. Which, if you think about it, really isn't for $50. It really isn't that much. You're not getting much for it.
That was the next thing I was going to say. It's really subjective, too.
Right.
Because early access games, even if it's not completed, some people will be like, oh yeah, it's great, people should play this because XYZ reasons, and you're on the ground floor, and other people like, there's not enough here, so why would I bother spending my money on it?
Right.
Everybody's got a different definition of completion or progress.
Right. And it really all depends on how they execute their early access. Because we've even put the comparison between Dreamlight and Speedstorm. Paying the founder's fee for Dreamlight was worth it, whereas paying the founder's fee for Speedstorm is not. In our or at least in my personal opinion.
To me, you have to really like the game that's free to play to put money into it.
And to me, I wouldn't. You would definitely have to really like the game if you want to have pay early access to get in like less than a week.
Yeah.
For me, a week is pushing it.
I mean, that's what I did with Starfield. I was excited for the game. I had been looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm going to pay the $30 from Game Pass and be able to play the game early. Why not?
Right. It was worth it to you. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Me personally wouldn't have done that. But I didn't have the time and invested into it, whereas you did.
Mm-hmm.
So, like you said, completely subjective.
Yes.
Do you regret it? Absolutely not.
No, hell no. I'm still playing the game. Love it. I just took down the Crimson Fleet. No more pirates in the space now.
Until you start your own pirate crew.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. It's an interesting thought because it's like they're finding new ways to get more money out of you and disguising it as something else when you're not really getting anything in return but the game a couple days early.
They're gonna have to figure something out because did you hear about Australia's law that just got passed?
No, what?
Apparently, Australia passed a law that's going to be a blow to gacha games and microtransactions and stuff like that. So
First off, good, but what is it?
basically, they are requiring video games, any games that have microtransactions or loot boxes, automatically be rated M.
Okay.
Specifically for that to curb the gambling.
Well, yeah, that is a problem, especially like with Fortnite too, who just got hit with I think they got hit with some sort of lawsuit or like parents whose kids have bought stuff from Fortnite inadvertently or whatever, they may be entitled to money from Epic because of it. Because a lot of these things are kind of predatory in a way that they really do advertise to kids, or they get the kids' attention and be like, hey, you just need to spend some money to get these things or get the chance to get this. And kids don't know the value of money or whatever. They're like, oh, I can spend money to try and get this, I'll do it. And then blow $100 without thinking about it.
Right. How's that any different than the freaking
And that
commercials
was the
that we
biggest
had when
hang
we
up
were
in the
kids?
EU. Yeah. I mean, I will say I played an RPG for years and I was subjected to that. And I spent money on the game because I played it a shit ton and I was all about it. And I spent money on specifically gachas for different items for my fake internet character. That was on me, though. I knew the value of the money and my chances of getting it, because a lot of those times those games will have the percentage chance of getting what you want out of it. But, it's different. I was an adult. I knew what I was doing. That was my choice. For kids, they don't know jack shit, and they're just like, it's money, whatever. If I got it, I spend it.
Pretty much. And what doesn't get me is how the hell. Like I'm liking it to kids like Sawyer's age and a little bit older and stuff like that playing those types of games. How do parents let their kids spend money like that?
Because they don't have parental controls and locks on them. They have their credit cards tied to these things, and all it takes is just a press of a button or two. And if you're not watching your kid and what they're doing, then they're just going to blow money, and you won't even know it until later on.
But even then, those type of locks should be easy to implement, because now, like with the PlayStation,
easy to implement, sure. Actually doing the process, good luck getting people who are lazy to do it. People will set kids down and let them just do whatever and not think twice about it until it's too late.
So, I think this is where I'm going to play the devil's advocate on the side of the gaming industry, and say, so why does the gaming industry have to be the parent in this situation then, when the parents don't want to do their job?
Who said that they were? They're just changing the ratings board.
Yeah.
It's like a deterrent from letting kids play these games because it has those systems in place.
Right. Because then at that point, if it's
The idea is an 8-year-old should not be playing a mature rated game.
Oh, I agree 100%.
But you still have parents buying kids M-rated games anyway.
And then at that point, that falls on the parent.
Exactly. So if the parent knows that those are M-rated games and it has these things in the game and they still buy it for the kid and the kid goes and does it,
right,
it falls solely on the parent.
Even if it's a rated E game, you should at least sit down and watch your kid play until you feel comfortable enough that your kid that it's that game's not going to be one of those type of games that has content you don't want your kids consuming.
Yeah, but not a lot of parents are educated in video games or understand a lot of these things either.
I have to beg to differ at this point. Because a lot of the parents...
I mean, with the newer generation, sure, because we grew up with it, but a lot of these things are stemming from the parents who don't know about this stuff or understand it.
Yeah, but what generation is that, though? Because that would be our parents' generation.
Boomers!
Their grandparents.
Yeah, basically. And then one step from that. You'd be surprised how uneducated some people are in some certain fields. You also have to give a shit enough to look into it to learn about it or want to figure it out.
Yeah. I don't know. It just. I know you're right. It just still baffles my mind.
You're putting a lot of faith into people.
Yeah, basically, I'm expecting people to be decent human beings and do their job like you and I do.
Does that make me cynical? That I'm seeing it for what it is?
Makes you a realist.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take that. But yeah, I mean, it's tough when you feel and know that you're doing the right thing and you're making sure that you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's. And then you're like, yeah, of course, everybody else is doing that because they're baseline parents. Why wouldn't they? And then you come to find out, oh, they ain't doing jack shit. It kind of rocks your world a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much. We just recently stopped Sawyer. Told Sawyer no more YouTube for a little while because some of the stuff, even though it was on YouTube Kids, some of the stuff that he was watching is shit we don't want him watching. And it's affecting his behavior at home. And I'm like, no, you're gonna stop.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that some people won't.
You are doing your job as a parent and parenting him. You're trying to set him up for success.
It's just ridiculous. That's not a standard.
It should be.
It should.
But people are humans, and I guess they're humans to a fault. I don't really know what else to say about it. Sometimes people are going to put their hand on the stove even if they know it's going to be hot, and then they're going to look at you and go, why did that hurt me? It's like, well, you didn't learn the last few times. Who said you're going to learn now?
I don't know, some just don't care. Like,
exactly.
Let the world burn.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, that felt like a downer. It is what it is, though. I hope that people do the right thing and raise their kids well, but you also have to be prepared for the ones that don't.
Want a little bit of a happy story?
Yes, please.
Apparently, there was an unreleased prototype for a Crash vs. Spyro racing game.
Oh shit! I thought we got through all the news. Really?
Yep. Apparently a
That would've
YouTuber
been
bought
interesting.
a developer kit for the original Xbox. Apparently it belonged to a British studio called Eutechnics.
Mm-hmm.
And the kit held a whole bunch of prototype games. One of the ones that he found was basically a prototype for Crash vs. Spyro. Basically along the same lines as
cool.
the CTR game. But the weird thing about it was this was never even mentioned at all. Like, it wasn't even announced that this type of game was coming on. So they're pretty much believing that they were developing it to pitch to Argonauts to see if they'd even want to do that game and go forward with it.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of devs who want to get the contractor rights to an IP to make a game in that series or whatever, as a pitch. So that's cool that they made that.
I would have loved to see that game come out, to be honest.
It would have been neat. CTR was pretty good too, so if they made a CTR version of Spyro and Crash together, that'd been neat. That's given me Diddy Kong Racing vibes from the N64.
Oh,
That was such a good racing game.
I was always Dingo.
I don't know who that is.
He was the big
Don't tell me he was a dingo.
yeah, a dingo. A big hulking dingo guy.
I'm assuming he's the.
Almost sounds
he's
like
that,
you're talking
I'm
bad about
assuming
him.
he's the Crash's version of Donkey Kong.
That was fun.
Didn't they remake CTR or bring it out again recently? Like in the last year or two?
Excuse me. How have we?
Yeah,
How have we
didn't
never
they?
discussed this?
Because it's not a very big game and it didn't make a splash.
But I would have gotten it.
Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled on the PS4. Yeah. You missed it. It's $20 at Walmart. Go get it.
Don't tempt me. I'm going to. Fuck. I'm gonna see if it's on. If it's under the
PS Store.
Yeah. If it's under the free games under the subscription.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh fuck yeah!
I really thought that we had got through all the news. That was a nice little upper at the end. And you got some good news.
That definitely
We
made my
both
day.
won.
So how do you want to end this?
I'm going to bed. That's how I'm going to end it.
Oh shit! It's already 11:30.
Yeah. I'm also just exhausted.
So,
But that's just me.
so much for playing Destiny.
Yeah, I still have to put this together. Well, I guess I don't, really.
We
I
actually
can
recorded
edit it
on a Monday
tomorrow.
this time.
I know. I don't have to rush it out. Spend some time putting it together tomorrow.
So where can they find us, Adam?
So yeah, they can find us playing Destiny for a little bit before bedtime. But beyond that, we're on Instagram and Facebook and what's the other one?
The Twits.
What am I trying to X, Twitter. Yeah, the tweeters. And I'll say it just for you, the YouTubes. And everywhere you can get your podcast like usual.
And as usual, listen when you have a chance and let us know what you think.
I thought you were going to say, as usual, it's been a pleasure. See you around.
Bye.
New sign off. Are we leaving now?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay. Okay, bye.